Hello.
Ah.
We've got a bit of echo.
Yeah, you might want to turn the audio off on ours.
Oh no, right, okay, just let me turn this off.
Fantastic.
There.
And I've got it.
Can
you hear us?
I hope
you
so.
can.
Yeah, great.
Okay.
Right, off we go. So, good afternoon. It's me and Brendan for the next kind of 50 odd minutes, having a chat around the assignment and assignment 1 and what you need to do in order to be successful in the assignment. So we're going to kind of quickly talk through the context of the assignments. What's the context? What is it? What perspective are you looking at this from? We'll have a look. There are 4 blog posts in total that you need to do, so we'll look through each of those in turn. We'll have a look at the marking criteria, and then we'll also talk about what you need to do in order to make a successful submission. Sound good?
Yep, sounds like.
Do we have any viewers yet?
In terms of viewers, obviously the nerd on the team.
Oh,
is gonna
there's
be
somebody here.
William Miller is here. Hello, William.
Thanks, William.
Thanks for checking
Loving
in.
it.
Thanks for joining me. In terms of our analytics, what have we got? I can't actually see. You're the one I can see. But anyway, we'll have a look later. 26 people are currently watching, so hello
fabulous,
to the 26
fabulous.
of
The
you.
26 of you.
Right, cool.
Brilliant.
Right, okay, so assignment 1,
Yes.
this is a group assignment, but Dee, can you tell me a bit about the overview? Can you give us an overview of what we need to do?
Yeah, so you will need to submit. So deadline is the first thing, and I'd make sure you kind of get that in your diary ASAP. The deadline is Wednesday the 14th of December at 23:55. So you've got all day that day. It just needs to be in and on submitted by 23:55. Do not leave it to last minute.
Mm-hmm.
We all know what happens then, don't we?
What does happen then?
What does
happens
happen
at
then?
last minute?
Well, the internet doesn't work as quickly as you want it to. Moodle will crash, and you'll probably end up submitting after the deadline. So make sure you
how
give
many
yourself
teams do you think will be
plenty of
submitting?
time.
Lots of teams.
Last minute, probably quite a few.
Yeah.
Don't let that be you.
Okay.
Right. So
What percentage is this worth for the assignment?
So this assignment contributes 40% towards your total mark. So the exam is 60 and this one's 40. And you need to gain at least 40% in order to pass.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Right, can you tell us a bit more about the context of the assignment?
There's no sound. Sorry, somebody's just saying there's no sound.
Well, make sure you keep your sound off, because otherwise we're going to get a...
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Sorry,
Make
we're
sure
just
it's
checking to make sure it sounds wicked. If
Our live studio
Eleanor,
audience.
you, Freya and Alex are watching together and can't hear anything, you probably need to turn your sound up.
Okay.
Or if you're watching on a university computer, you'll need to put headphones into it. So that might be one of the reasons why.
This is going to be live casted at the moment, but after we finish this presentation, it's going to be a YouTube video where you
Yes.
can watch the video afterwards. Okay?
Yeah, so you can watch it back.
So you can ask questions
Many
now, or you can use Twitter to get in touch with us. I'm keeping an eye on some of these, but then if not, you can watch the video afterwards. Okay, on to the next bit.
Great.
Can you tell us a bit about the context of the assignment? What's going on?
So you are going to form a working group, and by that I mean between 2 and 5 students. Any more than 5 and your group's too big, and any less than 2, it's not a group and you're doing it individually. So you need to find at least one other person to work with. You will then assume the position of a full service digital agency. So you're going to create a pretend digital agency with your other colleagues or students. You will then need to create a blog site, and we're suggesting that you use Blogger or WordPress for this, depending on which you find easier. Don't worry, next week's session we're going to go through setting up a blog site, so don't worry about that. You're also going to need to be blogging about some industry issues, trends and opinions and things like that as well, to demonstrate you've got a good kind of grasp of how to blog and using a blog.
Okay.
We also want you to put the outputs from each of your tutorials onto your blog site as well, so there should be plenty of content going on there as well as your assignment.
Great. So they're all going to be digital agencies. All of you guys
Yes.
as a working group, you're going to pretend to be a digital agency.
Yep.
You're going to be writing about the industry, whether that's what kind of industries. Give us an example.
It's kind of up to you, really, whether you might want to think about what your degree program's in. So if you are a public relations student, you might want to create a digital PR agency. If you're doing retail, you might want to think about being some kind of retail agency. If you've got an interest in sports, you could be a sports marketing. Again, if you've got an interest in fashion or beauty, you might want to be a fashion or kind of beauty.
So could you focus on one product, for example, like an iPhone? And you're like the digital marketing team for Apple, and you're going to launch the new phone?
No, probably not.
Oh,
Probably
right.
not a great idea.
But you can focus in on one specific area if that's obviously what you guys are interested in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're probably going to go off and take a look at some marketing agency blogs. That'd be quite a good idea, wouldn't it?
Yep. Where did you find a list of these digital marketing agencies?
There's a nice link on Moodle, whereby for Manchester Digital, which gives there's a directory of all its members, so you can have a look at some of those. What you will start to notice, though, is that most industry blogs are very, very positive and look at everything from a positive light because they're trying to sell their services. But what do they need to bear in mind with their assignment?
Well, you guys are in a university. You're not an agency trying to sell. You're pretending to be an agency, but bear in mind that you are performing an assessment which needs to display critical discussion, and you need to also talk about some of the, like, a critical reflection on things that are happening. And one of the examples you'll usually see is that a marketing agency blog will be all about how great everything is and how wonderful and how fantastic. They never talk about negative aspects. They never talk about any problems. We want you guys to look at that, and specifically in the assignment, we want you to talk about disadvantages and what may go wrong. Something which I like to call the P45 factor, because if you say anything might go wrong in an agency, you're going to be fired. You never tell the client anything that might go wrong. However, in this assignment, we're asking you to critique. So you may talk about email as being a wonderful channel, but what might go wrong? Yeah. Okay.
Great.
So that's what makes the difference between
Thank you very much.
agency blogs and your assignment.
So let's quickly have a look at some of the aims. Have we got any questions? We'll just check, see if we've got any questions coming in, see if we can get them. No. How many people have we got? Let's have a quick look on here. So we've got 32 people watching.
Excellent.
Okay, hi. So let's have a think about some of the kind of aims of the assignment here. So what we want you to do is we want you to consider the relationship between digital communications and business strategy. We want you to analyse some opportunities and consider contemporary issues within the modern digital arena. Okay. So lots of words here, we understand, yeah?
Yeah. Cool.
And we want you to explore some examples of digital marketing practice, and you're going to be doing that in a number of different ways. Okay, so shall we get into the nitty-gritty of this?
Right.
How many tasks have we got?
As far as I remember, it's 4 tasks that you have. Well, from what's written in front of me in my script. There's 4 things that you need to do. Do you want to go through those 4? Or do you want me to go through them?
You can go through them.
All right, okay. Right, so the 4 elements of the assignment. Number 1, you need to write an appraisal. Right, appraisal sounds like one of them big posh words that people use in universities and big books. What does that mean? What does an appraisal mean?
An evaluation. So looking at kind of pros and cons, pulling something apart, and really getting down into the nitty-gritty in detail.
So could you say that, say most of the guys studying on this unit might be able to provide an appraisal of X Factor last weekend?
Possibly.
Yeah, you can pull it apart and say, look, that was a bit rubbish,
Probably,
that didn't really work, this could have been better, that was very good as well. You're looking at it from both sides, right? So you need to write, on your blog site, you need to write an appraisal of one digital platform. Now, how many platforms are there?
We're going to go into that detail later.
Right, okay. We'll come to that in a second. So, part 1, write an appraisal of one digital platform. Part 2, you need to create a video. Okay? The video you need to create is a pitch, right? So, a pitch is, what's a pitch?
A pitch is trying to convince a client to kind of take you on and to go ahead with your ideas and to employ you in order to do those ideas. So they're usually competitive, which means you need to be very, very enthusiastic about your ideas and really kind of sell your ideas.
Yeah. So you're creating a video pitch of your campaign idea. Now the campaign idea will be to do a great campaign around a product that you guys are going to choose, which we'll come to in a sec. So you're creating that video pitch. So if you're unsure about the pitch idea, about or how that works, there's going to be a specific lecture on it. But have a think about The Apprentice and sometimes how they pitch their advertising campaign idea.
Yeah.
I think the ad campaign is this week.
It is this week.
Yeah. So how they present that big presentation at the end. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a blue iPhone, and that blue iPhone is going to be much better than all the others.
Yeah. So think about if we think about The Apprentice, it's that kind of bit at the end where they go in front of all the industry professionals and actually kind of say their spiel or their speech. That's a pitch.
Okay. So that's part 2. Part 3, you need to write a justification of the suitability of the platform. Okay. Lots of big words again, but this is the academic part where you guys are justifying with good credible evidences, which we've given you in the reading list. It's various other things that we're going to give you in the literature and the lecture, sorry. But this is going to be your justification for why you think that social media is the most appropriate platform for this chosen product. Okay?
This is great on here. Sorry, I'm just having a look. People are answering each other's questions. So thank you. Is it Chloe that is answering questions? Amy, can you work with people from other courses, or can you only work with people on the same course as you? My suggestion would be that you work with people within your own tutorial group. It will make it far, far easier.
Because you're going to see them on a weekly basis as well, and you've got to work together.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I interrupted.
That's all right. That's part 3. Part 3 is your written justification, which is the real academic bit. That's the university bit. Okay. So there's a great opportunity there to get some good marks when you're writing your formal assignment bit. Okay. So part 1, write written appraisal of the digital platform. Part 2, create your campaign pitch video. At part 3, write the justification for why that platform is most appropriate. And finally, number 4. You need to give us the full list of all the evidence that you've used. And that evidence needs to be in a special format.
Yeah.
What form should that be in?
Harvard referencing style.
Harvard referencing.
There will be a link on Moodle which will take you through to a number of resources on the library webpage which will help you with Harvard referencing style. The closer you can get to that, the better and the more marks you will get. So it's a really good way.
Are we giving away marks here?
No, because they're going to follow the referencing style. Then
but if you do a full reference list, then you get loads of marks. That's great.
Yeah.
Gee, we are far too nice.
Aren't we, Joe? Right, so let's go down, let's dig into a bit of detail here. And it starts a kind of...
So blog post 1.
Blog post 1, which is your appraisal.
How many marks do you get for it?
It's worth 50% of their overall grade.
Right.
So this is a big chunk of your marks for this assignment. So you must appraise one digital platform. And you've got to do that in no more than 1,500 words. So that might seem like a lot of words. It's not a lot of words. You're going to need to be very concise with your written style. Okay, so they've got a choice of digital platforms and they're to choose one.
Right.
What are the digital platforms they can use?
You have 5 options, and these are the 5 platforms that we're going to give you a specific lecture on in between now and the end of November.
Yeah.
And the one that we're going to do next week, the one that you're going to do is
blogging.
A blog. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a lecture on how corporate brands use blogs as a marketing communications channel. So that's platform number 1, blogs. Platform number 2, email. Okay, most of you guys use email. I'm going to be talking to you guys about email marketing and how brands use email, and they make a ton of money using emails. It's a very, very good channel to use, and I'll be making the case for I reckon that's the best channel that you should use, but I'm biased and everything like that. So that's platform number 2. Platform number 3, search engines. So brands using search engines for marketing purposes. Again, you could write your appraisal based around that. Social media as a platform that you guys can use to try and for your creative campaign. If your campaig's really creative, maybe that might be a very
it's usually a popular
platform. It's usually very popular with you guys. You seem to love social media. Well, it's exciting, it's different. And then finally, the last platform is mobile. Okay? So there's 5 platforms: blogs, email, search engines, social media, and then finally mobile.
So choose one.
You need to pick
and
one.
Write your appraisal on one of those.
One year somebody tried to write all 5.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Quick question. Is that an individual thing for the appraisal? Is that for the whole group?
No, it's for the whole group.
Okay.
So choose one. And write your appraisal on one of those. One year somebody tried to write all 5. Yeah. Bad idea.
Quick question. Is that an individual thing for the whole group?
Say that again, Ruby. Sorry, Ruby's here from my group on Friday. Well done, she turned up.
Just for the first part, when you have to choose one to write an appraisal,
Yes.
is that individually?
No, so what Ruby's wanting us to clarify is whether do you do this work individually. You'll need to provide one appraisal per group. So it's not done individually. That will be one appraisal per group that you will do. Okay?
Okay.
Good question. Thanks, Ruby.
So out of the 4 parts of the assignment, you guys are writing them as a group.
Yeah.
So the group
Yeah.
will submit one blog post for blog post 1,
Yes.
which will be one appraisal of one platform.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you guys will work together as a team to do a lot of the research, but it's a good idea if you have one person who's really good at writing. That's going to be the person who finishes everything off, and you make sure it looks great, and it sounds good, it's well researched, it's well referenced and nicely presented. But essentially, if you're in a group of 4, all 4 of you are writing this one blog post.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so to help you along the way a little bit, we've given some clarification of what should be included within your appraisal and what you should be writing about.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing we would like you to do is we would like you to provide us with a definition of the digital platform that you've chosen. So something that is really credible and very academic. So maybe from a book or a journal would be really, really good.
Okay.
We then want an explanation of the techniques associated with your digital platform. So what techniques do you use with that digital platform? We then want a justification for the use of the digital platform. So why would you want to use it? The benefits, the advantages. Then we would like a critique of the digital platform. So what Brendan was talking about, what could go wrong, what are the kind of drawbacks for that digital platform. Then we'd like you to provide an example of how it's been used in a recent campaign. So find what kind of things could they be looking for.
Well, I spoke to these guys last week about e-consultancy, the
Yes.
Drum, Brand Republic, Marketing Magazine, Campaign Magazine, a few
Yeah.
other online mags like that. So a lot of these magazines, they're industry magazines, and they talk about campaigns that are happening at the moment. So there shouldn't be any problem in getting a good example of, let's say, a brand who's done something
Definitely.
really cool and social this week or this month. So what we want you to do is to present an example of that and discuss and describe it a little bit, because
Yeah.
we think that that would help with you convincing this pretend client for your pretend agency.
Yeah.
So let's say, I don't know, who's done really well recently. I'm sure any of you guys, quick Google search on the week before you submit your assignment and you will find one. You'll find a good example. I was going to say Southern Rail, but no, they haven't done.
No, they're not been doing
very
great,
badly.
have they? We'd also like you to find and tell us about some examples that we don't know about. So please don't regurgitate any of the examples that we've provided you in the lecture.
Okay.
We know, we wrote the lectures. I'd then like you to summarise the appraisal, reminding your clients why they should invest in that particular digital platform.
Right. So there's
So-
6 sections in blog post 1, which suggests there should be 6 individual, say, subheadings. Or
Yeah,
6
possibly.
areas.
That might be a really
So
good
if
idea.
you wanted to start writing the assignment today, which you could,
Yeah.
because you've got loads of time, you could probably take each one of those 6 headings, put them onto a page, and then
Yeah,
you've
and
kinda
go from there.
You've got a clear direction.
Yeah,
of
it's
what
quite
you're
good
doing.
structure, that.
Right. So how should these guys write this?
So
Blog.
we need to avoid using first person if we possibly can. So no I's and we's and thems and theys. You must use academic referencing within this post as well. So you need some academic sources and evidence that support the points that you're trying to make.
Where could they get some academic references?
And they might want to start with a core text.
Core text.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find that. There's a link on Moodle. You can click on that. It'll bring you to Amazon. If you want a student-friendly price or a second-hand version of it, but also have a look at the
But
reading
also,
list that we put up on.
Tell them why you want them to click through Moodle.
No, I'll tell that later.
He's got an affiliate link on it, so he makes money every time you buy a book.
That is ruining part of my lecture. 3 weeks
Oh,
time.
sorry.
Anyway. Yeah, have a look at the reference list if you are looking out for academic references. There should be plenty there, which you should be able to plug into. Right.
Okay.
What about
any questions going on?
Blog post 2?
Anything happening on Twitter?
Rory's been watching, and his comments weren't working till now. But his
But they
email-
are working now.
Okay, great.
Anyone on Twitter?
Right,
We're not
let's
really
check.
loving Twitter, are we,
No.
with this
I
group?
think millennial generations are over Twitter. We should set up a
Twitter.
Snapchat account
Oh.
for DMMP.
Really? Okay.
What's the matter? Too new for
I
you?
think that.
That's
Probably
Do you
a good
think?
idea.
yeah.
Oh,
Just
look.
as long as you don't have us just like you
Right, okay. So you want to see what we're doing, but we can't see what you're doing. That sounds fair. What we talk about dark social.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, anyway,
right.
back to the assignment.
Okay, next one.
Wandered off topic
We've
somewhat.
done blog post 1. What we need now is blog post 2. So what does blog post 2 consist of?
So this is going to be your video, and this is hopefully where you can have a bit of fun, learn some new skills.
Mm-hmm.
Last year's videos.
Were fantastic. There was
Yeah.
1 or 2 outstanding examples from last year.
And actually, I've put some examples on Moodle, so take a look at those.
Yep.
This is what we're expecting. Last year's group set the bar high,
Yep.
I'm afraid. So
You guys need to do better.
yeah. So what you need to do with this is you need to create a 2-minute video to pitch a creative marketing campaign idea for a chosen client. So if you've chosen to do social, for example, as your platform appraisal, then you will need to pitch a creative marketing campaign idea for social media on your video. And who is their client going to be? They've got a choice.
Your choice of clients this year is number 1, Pizza Hut. Popular brand.
Yeah.
Number 2, BMW, the i3 electric car. Automotive industry, some quite big automotive companies nearby if you guys wanted to get a job in there. Number 3, Secret Garden Party. Number 4, Rare London, clothing brand. Number 5, Bulldog, which is the
Amy loves
skincare.
pizza. Good. Glad
Amy
we
loves
ticked
pizza.
your list.
Brilliant.
Okay.
And then finally, Tom's Shoes. Okay,
Yeah.
Tom's brand of shoes. Now, we've had a question from Amy. Amy's asked, do we have to be in the video?
No, not necessarily.
No.
It's totally up to you.
Have a look at some of the examples.
Yeah.
1 or 2 of them just use kind of stopgap animation.
Yeah, they
added
did,
together
yeah,
lots
yeah.
of text and stuff. So there's nothing in the brief that says you have to be in the video.
No.
However, you kind of might want to put an audio over there, like so you might want to have like some voiceover telling you a bit more about the creative campaign.
But again, that could just be one person in your group that does the audio.
But you guys will work
we
together
don't
on
need
the
to.
video.
Yes.
Obviously,
Creating it.
You're going to submit that. Okay, so how long is the video?
2 minutes.
Right, 2 minutes.
Anything over, we're not going to watch.
Okay, we'll stop it at 2 minutes.
Everyone's got short attention spans these days.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you need to make sure you're either slightly under or bang on the money.
Okay. What kind of topics do people need to cover in this? What do they need to do to get marks?
Yeah, so again, we've kind of provided you with an outline of the kind of things your video should include. So you need to tell us who the client is. So that's got to be really, really clear, the client that you've picked and who this idea is for. We'll need some clarification of the digital platform that you've used. So tell us which digital platform this campaign idea is for. I want one objective that you hope the campaign could achieve. So what could they be, for example?
Right, so at this point you need to have a look in the core text, or you need to have a look at a lecture that you might have from Principles of Marketing based on campaign objectives.
Yeah.
Campaign objectives tend to point to 2 things. Number 1, sales, or number 2, raising awareness, changing people's opinion. Making people know about your product. So,
or possibly making people do something, go somewhere, driving footfall, stuff like that.
Could be, a specific one on that. You want people to come into the shop or
Yes.
to come in and have a look at the product. So a campaign objective might be to increase sales over a certain period of time, or to raise awareness of a product with a certain group of people, or by them coming into the shop.
Finally, we want some details of your creative campaign ideas.
Yeah.
So you need to very clearly outline what your creative campaign is.
So this is your lovely advertising creative idea that's going to be manifested through the digital platform that you guys have thought about. Right? Okay.
Now, Amy's just asked, where do we upload the video to? So the video needs to be embedded into a blog post, and then you also need to provide us with a link on that blog post that we can click on.
That link can be YouTube, that link can be any kind of video like Vimeo or anything else like that, but you need to submit the link.
Yes.
And that link needs to be live and operational for 4
so we can watch
weeks
it
after
and
the
mark
deadline.
it. Yeah.
Because other people are going to be looking at the assignment.
Yeah.
after you. So if you do it, if you upload it and then there's a copyright issue on YouTube, you need to sort that out very quickly. Or you might just need to avoid that whole thing. Don't put kind of the latest Drake song as a backing track, because you might get in trouble with it and they might take it down. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Maisie has asked us a question. I'm confused about the list of clients. Does our product have to be relevant to one of those clients? No. So your product is that client. So
the product might be BMW, the product might be Tom's Shoes, the product might be Pizza Hut, and then you're presenting a campaign idea for that product. Yeah.
Okay, right. One of the key things we want you to remember with this video is that it's got to provide some visual impact. So you really need to think about the kind of aesthetics of your video, what it looks like and what impact it's going to make on the audience. The nature of a pitch means that you need to be very enthusiastic and that you really need to sell your ideas as well. You also need to make sure that all your student names and ideas appear somewhere on the video, either at the beginning or in the closing credits. And you're to embed the video within your blog post and provide us with a clickable link.
So that's been about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Next.
Fab. Blog post 3.
Blog post number 3. Right, so this is the academic bit.
Yes. And tell us about the academic bit.
I will tell you about the academic bit.
Right,
okay. So again, this is a blog post that's going to be posted onto your blog site that you're going to build next week. Within that, it needs to be under 500 words. So we're not talking about a massive blog post, but this is your written bit. So that needs to be quite dense. That needs to be a good discussion. And what you're writing within this third-party assignment is a justification, an academic justification for the campaign idea and the campaign's use of the digital platform. So at this point, you're really going to talk about, look, we thought that social media was the most appropriate for the BMW campaign that we're going to use because. Now, the because, and what comes after that, you guys are going to have to figure out and research yourself. So you're going to have to find out what type of consumers buy BMW. Are they social media users? What types of social media channels do they use? What type of age range do they tend to be? What type of income? How much money do they have? What demographic profile might they be? Etc., etc. And you're going to provide that justification. Think about justification in this way. You're in court and you have to justify what you've done. You have to make that real case, that real reason for why this is the best platform to use for this campaign.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And think about the suitability for your client as well.
Yes.
So for the client that you've chosen, think about how suitable your digital platform and campaign ideas are and justify those.
Okay.
In a written post.
Okay, so no more than 500 words.
Yep.
But what other advice can we give them about?
So you're probably going to want to consider, but I've put but don't be limited to. So if there's other things you want to include, I want a brief outline of the client and the digital platform again, just as kind of a bit of an intro. Mm-hmm. Why your choice of digital platform suits the client. Why your creative ideas were suitable for the digital platform. And then what response you expect from your target audience.
Excellent. We've had a couple of questions.
Okay, fabulous.
Question number 1. Eleanor asks, we're all a bit confused. Who's we?
Oh.
Is there any time that we can come and see you and ask questions?
It's funny you should say that. So, the first 2 weeks of December, there will be support sessions where you can sign up via Moodle for an appointment with one of the tutors and you can ask any questions there. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, if you've got questions, either ask them on the Moodle forum or ask your tutor in the tutorial or come and ask me or Brendan at the end of any of the lectures as well.
Yeah, so plenty
Loads
of time
of
to ask
options.
questions. Right, next question is, will there be a written version of these tasks? I'm not sure what you mean by tasks, but we can tell you that there is a set of slides that will be posted onto Moodle.
Yes, there are.
And
they're there now.
They're there right now?
Yeah, they are.
As if by magic. Yeah. And on there is further advice and some tips that we've given you that we're talking through now at the moment for the assignment. So what I would probably recommend is maybe watching this video back again, listening to it because we're such good vloggers. And vlogging an assignment, that's not going to get many hits, is it? But what you can do there is you can use the video, what we've mentioned, what we've described here, some of the information that's on the slides, and also the really important bit is the assignment brief. But we'll come to that in a sec. We'll show you where there's one page in there that's absolutely essential that will really spell out how to get a first in this assignment. We'll go through that in a sec. Right, Eleanor is confused. Eleanor says thanks. Eleanor says the slides don't show everything, that's why we're confused. Okay, well that's how slides generally work. We present some information on the slides and then we talk and discuss over them. So you need to take on board kind of the additional things that we're saying.
Eleanor, I think you need to read the assignment brief.
Okay.
And try and get your head around it. And then if you've got any specific questions, you need to write those down.
Yeah, and on top of that...
And sit with your group as well.
Yeah, and just have a chat with the tutor. And stuff will sink in. This is the first time you've read this assignment brief, so obviously it's going to be... it might not be clear initially, but the second and the third time, a bit more discussion will become clear. If you're still massively confused, what you can do is there's a Moodle forum, and what you can do is you can write down just scribble down any questions on a notebook somewhere. Yeah. And then just put them onto Moodle, and then what we'll do is we'll answer them, and that way everybody can see the response. Yeah. What we'll get
just to let you know, none of the tutors will answer questions via email, because we usually tend to find that questions that everybody within the cohort could do with knowing that answer. If we do it on email, then only you get the answer, whereas if you do it on the forum, everybody gets to see that answer.
How many students are on this one?
250.
Bloody hell, that's a lot of emails. So if one question... Jesus, Mary and Joseph. If the questions are up on Moodle, that means that 250 people see that response. So that's kind of why we don't really use email itself. Yeah. Right. Am I going off script?
No, it's fine. We've got plenty of time.
That's blog post 3, right? We've covered that one. So justification, academic justification.
Yes.
Tell us about your great creative idea and why it was the most appropriate using good, credible sources and academic references. And then also, I've just noticed that last one there, is the response you would expect from the target audience. So again...
What would you expect your target audience to do as a result of your campaign? Yeah. Would they go into a shop? Would they buy something? Would you expect them to post something? Would you be asking them to share something? I don't know. Something along those lines.
Hashtags, coupons. Yeah. Very good. Okay.
Although none of them are using Twitter anymore.
Oh yeah, we don't use Twitter anymore. Somebody's got to give me an emoji Snapchat campaign for BMW. That's what I want to see. Do that. I'll get great marks. Okay, number 3 is done. Number 4 is next. So 5% of the marks are being given for the ability to show us the credible source of evidence that you've used in this assignment.
Yes.
In the correct format.
Yes.
Right. So blog post 4 is what exactly?
So it is literally a bibliography or reference list, whatever you would like to call it, but is a list in Harvard format of all the sources that you've used in blog posts 1 and 3, and possibly 2. Mm-hmm. There's a hint for you.
Oh, yeah. How do you put sources into a video? Wow. I think about that. So this is a reference list, and the reference list needs to be in the correct format. So how can, say if you've never heard of Harvard referencing before, how could you find out about that?
There is a link on Moodle to the University Library website, or you might want to go direct to the university website and search for Harvard referencing. There are loads and loads of resources. It might be something that you want to download and keep. I know whenever I do something, I've kind of forgotten where the dots or the brackets or the commas go. So I do have that saved, and I have to check back on it.
I also saw a cool website recently called Cite This For Me.
Oh, right,
and you can actually put in the name of the book, and it generates a list, so you copy and paste. So we're giving away 5%, 5 marks, 5% of the marks, 5% of 40 marks for cutting and pasting.
Right, so moving on.
There's a really important page.
Yes, there is a
brief.
2 important pages.
2 important pages.
Right. The last 2 pages of the assignment brief are the marking criteria. So, nice little table that basically gives you down the left-hand side each of the tasks, and then across the top it tells you what you need to do in order to achieve specific marks.
Okay.
So remember, 40% is your pass mark. So anything below 40 is a fail. So we also tell you how to fail, but we also tell you how to pass. So we're hoping that everyone's aiming for the 86 to 100%. So have a good read of that.
So there's quite a lot of information in there in the grading criteria. So pay attention to the language that's being used in there. Pay attention to the specific words. Like, do you need to have a conclusive statement? Just kind of what you need you to do is to unpack that.
Evidence. So look at the wording that's used, and that should help you.
That grading criteria is essentially your guide as to how to get a first and how to get the grade that you will get.
Yes. And this is what we use. This grading criteria is what the team use when they actually mark your work, and that's how we decide what grade you get, is by using that grading criteria.
So if you fully understand what's on there, you fully understand how the marks are going to be given out. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Last but not least, how do these guys submit? Is there any more detail you can give on that?
Yes. So basically your submission date is Wednesday the 14th of December. So it's the Wednesday before we break up for Christmas. I wouldn't recommend you leave it that long though, would you? You need to submit all of your tasks. So task 1, 2, 3 and 4 all need to be submitted on that day.
Okay.
What we'd like you to do is we would like you to convert your blog posts into PDFs. How can they do that?
Well, there's a wonderful website which I haven't built and I'm not working on commission for, but it's called Web2PDF. I think if you just Google Web2PDF and we'll put the link
I'll pop a link on
yeah.
Moodle.
But what you do is you insert the, let's say the
URL.
web address of your blog post, and it'll generate that into a PDF file. Download the PDF file, upload that to Moodle. Now you'll upload blog posts 1, 3 and 4.
Yes.
And then obviously number 2 is the video. So are they
Provide us
uploading?
the link.
Yeah, just provide us with the link for blog post 2, obviously, because that's your video. So
Yeah.
one link, and then 1, 2, and 3 are all within PDFs. So blog post number 1, your written appraisal,
Yeah.
PDF format. Blog post number 3, justification, PDF format. And then blog post number 4, your bibliography, your reference list. And then include the link for your video on there as well.
So one person from each team
Yes.
must then upload that onto Moodle. So where the assessment centre is, a submission box
Studio
will appear.
audience is,
I know,
is,
yeah.
having
So there will be a kind of submission box that appears that you click on, and one student from each team must upload that. So I don't want numerous copies of each assignment, just one person from each team.
Right. What do students love more than anything else?
I don't know.
Getting marks.
Free booze.
Free booze, apart from free booze. Getting marks.
right, okay.
Getting marks and feedback. So when are these guys get their marks and feedback?
So what we'll do is we will be very diligent and spend our Christmas holiday marking these.
Christmas is cancelled, we're just marking.
So week commencing the 9th of January, so your first week back here in university, your tutorials that week will be dedicated to providing you with feedback from this assignment.
Okay. What kind of format will that feedback take?
So each group will get one sheet with all their feedback on, and there'll be one per group. Yeah? So you get one grading sheet, which will break down where all your marks were allocated, so you can see whether you did well on task 1 but not so well on task 2, or if you did well on everything, which is obviously what we want.
Yep.
You will also get some feedback from your seminar tutor as well, about what was good and what needed improving, generally from the group as a whole. And we'll also pick out some examples of the really, really excellent videos that we've seen to show you what really, really good looks like.
Good. And the idea with feedback is, if you're going to do this again,
Yes. What would you do?
What would you do?
And this is the year to really kind of take on board your feedback.
Yeah. There's been a couple of questions, or statements, I should say.
Oh, this is what do students really like?
Let's deal with the proper questions
Okay,
first.
we'll do the proper
Should we write part 1 and part 3 on different files? Okay, what we'd like you to do is write blog post number 1 as part number 1 of the assignment as a separate blog post, yeah? And then convert that to a PDF and upload that. And part 3 will be another blog post, all right? Now, if you want to combine the two together, I'm sure you could, but it's better if they're in separate files.
Yeah. Let's
What we'll do
avoid
is-
any confusion.
Exactly, because we download them all in one go, and if we have to look somewhere for something else, and if anything goes missing, there's a danger that it might go missing. All right, and then I believe I asked, what do students like more than anything else?
What do they like?
Drink, sleep, food, and money.
Money.
And food. What else? What do students not like?
I don't know. Let's find out. What do students not like?
Oh, here's one. What social media channel should we be using to communicate with students? Put your answers on a postcard and send it onto our livecast video page, because we want to know. Will examples from last year be available on Moodle? Students don't like work. Yeah, we knew that one.
Unlucky.
Will examples from last year be available to view on Moodle?
Yes, there are some examples of the videos on Moodle. There won't be any examples of the appraisals or anything like that.
No. Okay.
I'm not
Students
quite
use
sure.
Facebook and they don't like work.
Oh right, I was going to say,
I've learned something
maybe
today.
they don't like Facebook.
Maybe they don't like Facebook, and maybe they really like work.
Yeah.
I doubt it. Right, finally, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
So what kind of resources are available to these guys to get
So,
started?
Really, really good starting point, I think, is your core textbook, which is Chaffee's E-Marketing Excellence. Then your lecture material. So remember, there's going to be a lecture each week going forward on each of these digital platforms. That's a really good starting point.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, our lecture notes aren't the be-all and end-all. They're the kind of overview to get you started with the subject matter.
Yeah.
To point you in the right direction. There's also some recommended reading for each week as well, so they're a really good starting place. What else could they look at?
Well, remember some of the destinations I spoke to you about last week, but if you don't, that's fine. Think about market data, market reports, or market research organisations that do this work for you. So places like Mintel is a great company, is a great organisation. They do big, huge market research projects, and they find out lots of insights for you, like what do people like in terms of automobile industry.
I think they do a digital one every so often as well.
Yeah,
about
they do
once
these,
a quarter, I think.
They do these great,
like digital behaviour.
Yeah, and you can
or something
download
like
the executive summary versions of the
Yeah.
files as like a PDF. You can have all the graphs there as well. Actually, you could lift some of those graphs and put them into your assignment, and then put a reference underneath it. That might really help your case, help your argument. Have a look at some of the other online practitioner magazines I mentioned, like eConsultancy, Brand Republic, Marketing Magazine, Campaign Magazine, and just keep asking us all the
And
time.
what about this final one?
Right, yeah. So to up your game,
Yeah, to get top mark.
we want you to consider trying to use some academic journal publications. So if you can find any pieces of research that have been published in an academic journal, like the Journal of Marketing, Journal of Advertising, Journal of Computer Mediated Communication, for example, and what we've done is we've given you one or two articles from there.
You might even find something from Brendan in one of these.
Yeah, you might even find something from you as well. But if you could find some top-end research that's been published by professors, published at that level, then have a go at that. It's not easy stuff to get your head around the first time, but see if you can use that in your assignment. I think it would be recognised within the marks.
Yes, I think it would, yeah.
Right.
If it's used wisely.
If used wisely, not just stuck in there.
Yeah.
So, last but
tips?
not least, top tips? What are your top tips?
So my top tips would be to use your seminar tutorial sessions really, really wisely. There's going to be a number of activities and things that we ask you to do within your tutorials, whereby you can get some feedback from your tutors as well. Mm-hmm. So make sure you attend those and engage with those.
So if each group had completed each seminar over the next 5 to 6 weeks, you would effectively have started work and thinking on each one of the 5 platforms that you need to cover. Okay? So make sure at least one of you is there.
You even might have an idea for your video as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. What else?
You might want to look at some real-life examples of digital marketing agencies. So look on the Manchester Digital Directory. There's a little link within the lecture slides.
Yeah, have a look what they're blogging about. Have a look what they're writing about. What else?
You might want to embed your links. So you might want to embed your references as links.
Okay.
Don't know, is that pushing them too far?
No, I think we're dropping a lot of hints there.
Yeah.
Hopefully someone will pick them up.
What else? You might want to get somebody else to read your work as well. I've got a very good eye for kind of mistakes, typos, that kind of thing. I don't like them. So get someone else to read your work, read it within your group. It can be quite difficult when you've written something, so do make sure you read back over stuff. And finally, what's your top tip?
Don't even consider submitting late. Don't even think about it. What happens if you do submit late is that you get a big fat 0. You don't even get 40. You don't even get 30, 20. If you're 1 minute past, if you're 23:56, you get a big fat 0. Yeah. And that's just the way the university works.
Unfortunately, all your submissions are date and time.
The only time that you can repeat that is in August the following year. So what you're talking about is some serious consequences. Just don't even bother. Just put it in. Get it submitted, get it up online, and get it onto Moodle well before the deadline. Okay?
So, do we just want to reiterate when you can get some support on this?
Okay.
So, support. We won't be answering any questions via email. As we said, there's a lot of you, and we teach a lot of students, so we can't offer support via email. What you can do is you can ask your tutor at the end of or during your tutorial sessions. Ask Brendan or I at the end of any lectures. You can ask on the Moodle forum. which is preferable because then everybody within the cohort has the chance to see the answer.
Yeah.
There'll be some dedicated one-to-one appointments available from week commencing the 5th of December, so where you can come and talk to us.
Yeah, so as a group, you'll come and sit with us, and we'll look through anything that you've got. Even if you have a draft of the assignment, you can come on, bring it on, and say, look, here's where we're up to at the moment. Can you give us some help with this, this, and this? How do we improve this? How do we get better marks? Make good use out of those. You can actually bring the grading criteria and your assignment, and then sit with us, who are going to mark that in a couple of weeks, and say, how do I make this better? And, you know, we'll try and help you out as best we can, and we'll point you in that right direction. I think the Moodle forum is really the best channel, though, because if you have to actually sit down and think about what you're unsure of, then you have to form it into a question, and then you have to post the question, and then you get the response from us. You've actually thought about it at 3 points there, so I think it's the best way to do it.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And then, I think that's nearly
That's it.
We need to get out of this room as well.
We do. The one last, I think there's a couple of
we got a question. If we wanted to reference material used in your lectures, do we need to ask you for the original source, or can we reference the lecture itself?
The original sources will be available at the end of the lectures. So there will be a reference slide. There's probably one of the last slides within our lectures, and they will have all the references on, which will be the original sources of information, so you already have them.
Okay. However, if you can't find that reference, let's say if I'm put a graph up there or some kind of image, just ask us, and ask us on Moodle, and we'll be able to dig it out for you. We'll be able to find it. And Ashley's asking about Professional Development Week. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
is
know.
the answer to that.
As soon as I do, I'll pop the info on Moodle.
Okay.
Links of Wake and Book stuff and what's on.
Okay.
I do know that the stuff for our department, MODB, will be on the Thursday of that week. So, any questions from our live studio audience, lady?
We've lost one.
Yeah. She's too busy on Snapchat.
All right. Do the group have any questions for us?
Okay. Everyone's enjoying?
Really useful.
Good.
Managed to write everything down, so probably just make a forum if anyone's got any questions.
Okay. So Ruby has written everything down that we've been saying, which is really nice of her, and I'm sure she will share that with you. Unfortunately, Eleanor's still confused. Whose tutorial are you in, Eleanor? I would suggest you go speak to them this week. You are still confused.
All will become clear with more reading, these ideas that will crystallise and develop. And can I just ask last one?
Go on.
How did you guys like the live stream YouTube thing? Because it took us quite a while to figure out how to do it. We spent most of today trying to figure out how to live cast. Is it useful? Do you guys like this as a format? Do you like the kind of chat question things? Do you think it will help your learning? If you think it is, let us know, or maybe drop a comment on there, because we're going to go back to our boss now and say, right, we've done this cool thing, it worked, or it bombed, or we need to know. So you guys let us know. And then I think Eleanor's being wound up by some of her mates. All right, very good.
Right.
Cool. That's it from me, and that's good night from me, and good night from you, and see you later. Best of luck with the assignment. Use the grading criteria, start with that. And then, good luck.
Jobs are good.
Jobs are good.
Right. Bye.